Welcome to another episode of No F's Wasted with your co-hosts Tiffany Ritz and Jordan Testerman. Today we have a fantastic guest who has traveled the world, appeared on screen and on stage, and has written some amazing pieces from fiction to nonfiction to plays. Let me introduce you to Rachel Zake. Rachel Zake is an award-winning writer, actor, and director whose work can be seen nationwide. Rachel was a finalist for Pittsburgh New Works Festival, a two-time semifinalist for the LaButte New Play Festival at St. Louis Actors Studio, and semifinalist for the Ojai Playwrights Conference, B Street Theater, and She NYC. Her commissioned piece about the unparalleled Ruth Bader Ginsburg for Ensemble Theater in Cleveland, Ohio, The Prospect of Equality, was on stage from May to June of 2024. It won 3 awards, including Best World Premiere in the Cleveland area. Her full-length play, 9 Diners in October, premiered at Outside Circle Theater Project, and currently, Rachel's piece, Communication Variables, Amplifying Deaf Voices, is in development in New York City. She is president of the board for the Dobama Theater and a member of SAG-AFTRA, the Dramatists Guild of America, and Dobama Theater's Playwrights Gym. She has also served as artistic director of Playmakers Youth Theater in Beechwood, Ohio, and Rachel has also published 4 books: Two People Are Coming Out of a Building, The Nomad Diaries, Pants Off, Dance Off, A Gentleman's Guide, and The Actuality of Us, Leland and Emmeline. Rachel has stayed true to who she is, but she has fearlessly reinvented her path quite a few times. Take a listen, and you will see why we titled this episode, Flipping the Script. Hi, Rachel.
Hi. Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Rachel. Welcome to No F's Wasted.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for agreeing to be one of our very first guests. We're so happy to have you.
Yay. And we're excited to hear all about you and the F's that you care about and don't care about.
There's probably many. I don't know. Find out.
What I may or may not have told you is I think we are titling this episode Flipping the Script, because I think it's very fitting for you and for your story. So I kind of want our listeners to know. I'm always like, how did we get here? How you got here? Take us back. I guess let the audience know and let Jordan know.
Because again, this is one of Tiffany's friends. Yes, I have no friends.
Yep, just meeting.
I'm kidding. They're coming. They're coming.
They are coming. Yeah, we have a very long list, and we're very excited to interview more people. But yes, so Jordan is meeting Rachel for the first time.
For the very first time.
Yeah. So we wanted to let everybody know, kind of like, take us back, Rachel. Like, what you could tell the story if you'd like, how we first met.
Oh, geez. Well, there are a lot of stories. Tiffany and I worked at an advertising firm together. That was both of our first jobs out of college, along with some other women that we're still friends with. But basically, this advertising firm was a holdover from Mad Men. I think that's the best way I would say it.
Yes.
So learned a lot. Got into interesting situations that this is not the F's for this, I don't think, but it was a really good time to meet a lot of great people who worked in advertising, learn the business, and make lifelong friends like Tiffany. It was great.
Yes, I am very, very grateful for that job because of all the people I've met from it. Awesome experience. But yeah, we definitely had some crazy times. I like to tell people that I used to work with, I was like, I am a very different person from that first job or two that we had than I am now. It was like high stress at times, mostly brought on by myself. Self-inflicted.
Lots of running around between different offices, up and down the stairs. Yeah, it was wild, but it was fun.
Yes. So yeah, Rachel was like one of the best things to come out of that job. And honestly, you were so animated in all the best ways when I met you.
Yeah, and forever. Yeah.
and I thought, where did she come from? I think I had been there for maybe like a year before you popped on the scene, but yeah. Was that, and that, like you said, that was your very first job, right? Out of college?
Very first job. Yeah. I graduated Boston University in the middle of the year. So I graduated in December, a little early. And so I came home for what I thought was winter break. And I was like, oh, I'll just do this mock interview. Like, it wasn't a mock interview. It was a real interview for a real job. But I was like, no, this is just like, this is an acting job. I'm just going to go, and I had majored in advertising management and psychology. So it was what I wanted to do initially. But I went in for this interview for a traffic position, which is like the lowliest position in an advertising firm.
Send those ads, baby. Specs.
Yeah. I mean, but somehow the interview went well and they're like, do you want this job? And I was like, oh, okay. So I guess I'm moving back to Cleveland. So I went back to Boston, packed up a U-Haul, drove back in the snow. And that was started in January, which was crazy, but a lot of fun.
Yeah. Jordan was probably working at a PR firm back then, maybe at that time, or maybe just, I think that's
closely about the time. I think working in an agency in the mid to late 2000s was definitely a wild time. It was pre-Me Too.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, I'm not insinuating that anything Me Too-ish happened to me, but some things probably would not have been acceptable. I think the first trip I ever went on with a superior, they were like, now listen, you're the youngest person in the car and it's your job to watch for police officers. And if I get pulled over, you have to pay the ticket because you didn't do your job of watching for cops. And at the time I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I'll do everything. Now kids would be like, you can't tell me that. So I mean, that's a very vanilla example of working at an agency in a pre-Me Too environment. But I can only imagine how it was for you guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we bonded, right? We bonded over things that were a little crazy.
Little cray-cray, for sure. So I want to know, I'm like, okay, how did you start from there? We have a lot of gaps to fill, but if somebody told you back then when you were, the low-level traffic coordinator at an advertising agency that your life was going to look like this now, what would you have said to them?
Don't joke. That's not the way it's going to go. I mean, I don't know. It's like such a different world than where I was. I mean, that was so long ago, 20 years, 2 decades is a lot of time. But I think when I graduated, I was really set on working in advertising. There was that Jennifer Aniston movie that had just come out. I think it was called Picture Perfect or something.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, oh, I'll be her. That's wonderful. I mean, her name was Rachel in Friends, so obviously we're like the same person. And so I was like, I'm going to work my way up, and this is going to be my career. And I mean, it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed the work of it and meeting all the people, but it's not where I started for sure, but I'm glad that I'm where I am. Yeah.
I like that. Don't joke.
Don't joke. Well, I also think at that time, right, the entertainment industry romanticized what I like to call the spam industry, right? Well, there wasn't social media, but PR, advertising, marketing, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Picture Perfect. Yes. All of these movies showed women in a creative communications type role. So I think it was only natural that we all thought that those jobs were not only going to be falling from the sky, but that they would be a lot of fun and, where we would break the glass ceiling and live forever.
Right. Exactly.
So
Rachel, I guess when you decided to leave the agency, I think we were at another agency. Now I'm thinking about this. I'm like, we were at another agency for a short stint together.
That's right. Yeah.
Just followed each other through. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
But at what point did you decide you needed a change?
So it was when I turned 25, although I think it was happening before that. But when I turned 25, I decided that I was going to move abroad and teach Spanish and, move to Madrid and have a new adventure and travel. And I think that seed was planted earlier. I had studied abroad in college in London, and I really loved being in Europe. And I actually had distant cousins. I remember this, I was in college and my grandparents had told me that this distant cousin had gotten married, and instead of a traditional honeymoon, she and her husband traveled Europe for like whatever number of months. And that always stuck with me. And it was something that I always wanted to do and I always thought about doing. And I think at 25, realizing that advertising wasn't the thing that I wanted to do forever, it felt like a natural break, mid 20s, do this. No, I'm not married, no kids, nothing to hold me back really. So I think that's when it started to take shape and how I wanted to do that.
Yeah, your stories. I remember when you told me that you wanted to do that, and I thought, oh my gosh, like she's lost her mind. What is she talking about? Like we're on this path. We're on this path to just like keep going down the agency route.
Yeah,
But
I think you had the common response. I think everyone was like, okay, you have this good job, you have this trajectory. And I think you were not alone. My parents were really supportive in me doing this. They said, well, if you're going to do it, now is the time to do it.
Yeah, for
it
sure.
did take them a little bit to come around. I will say.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, imagine now saying like, hey, guys, I'm going to take a break for a year and travel around Europe. Good luck. Like everybody would be like, you're nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think also I only knew you because I met you in the agency world. Like that's how I knew you, not realizing that you had all these like brewing passions and other desires and things that you wanted to do with your life that really weren't part of this. Cause like you said, you were coming into that first interview as like, this is a mock interview.
Yeah.
So I think, it was always in you. And I commend you for taking that step because you also helped people like me and everybody else who had been exposed to you to see that like there are other paths in life. Like you don't have to wait until you're in your 40s and go randomly start a podcast. Like,
or you can, or you totally can.
But you can do that.
You can,
but you don't have to wait.
You don't have to wait to that. Right. You could do it at any point in time. So, and that's, I think more of that mentality, that generational mentality is like maybe more common now, but like for us, it was like, oh my gosh, no, you follow the path and you do the thing and you work and
right. Totally.
To see what happens. So,
yeah.
I know a lot about your stories and kind of what your experience was traveling abroad, but I don't know if Jordan might have some questions. You might want to hear about
it. So like, were you excited? Were you nervous? Like, I guess I have traveled abroad, but I've never taken a leap of faith like that. So like, tell us a little bit about your experience and like how it influenced like what came after.
Sure. So I had made the decision to do this. And shortly after that was the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, which I had done some work at those in the past through Reuters. And so they asked me to come back and I did. And I just made this decision like a week before the DNC. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm excited to see my photographer friends who are really into travel. And like, this is their whole deal as well to some degree. So I went and I ended up meeting a photographer that was freelancing for Reuters and we started dating long distance. And then I was like, oh, this isn't serious. Like, whatever. I seem to think these things are all like very fluid. And then I'm like, oh, it's actually happening. I don't know why that happens. But, and so we like got further into it and we're like a few months down the road. And I was like, so here's the thing. I am moving to Spain soon. So if you'd like to come, that'd be great. And if you don't, then we probably should break up. And he was like, I would love to do that. Let's do it. And so he ended up moving with me and we've since broken up. We're very good friends still. But so we traveled together. I was always excited about it. I think it helped a little bit to have someone go along with me. It wasn't the original plan, but I think he had experience traveling abroad as well, and in some countries that I did not have experience in, and may have been, excuse me, a little dicier if we weren't together. So I think it was really helpful, but I was always excited about it. And because he was a photojournalist, he is a photojournalist, we decided to start a blog. So I started the writing piece of it, and he would take the pictures, and we posted this blog as a journey for ourselves and for everyone else to kind of keep up, because we didn't want to send emails, and
Right.
there was
Social
no Twitter,
media wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah. No.
Like
Nothing.
now that you say that, I feel like the blog, like everybody had a blog at some point in the early 2000s.
You're right.
Like I had a couple.
Right.
I would we're not going to talk about, but like I feel like that was but I feel like that now that you say that, like everybody was like, everybody had a blog. So I'd love to that's how you started writing, was blogging about your travels and your experiences.
And that was the start of it, I think. And then that ended up turning into a book. I did not end up using his photos, but I did just take.
Ooh, is that why you broke up?
We had broken up, yeah. And I was like, I don't want to pay for the rights. How about that? But you can still see his photos.
Makes lots of sense.
Yeah. He was fine with that. But so it became a book, and that's when I started writing more consistently, I would say. I probably always kind of dabbled in it, but not seriously.
I loved your entries. Oh my gosh, like the description. I think that was when I realized what a wonderful writer you were, because I was like so invested in where did she go next? What did she do? And like just the way you wrote it, and it was like so. Yeah, it would have been the perfect script. But then, like you said, you turned it into a book.
So, did you stay true to your plan and stay abroad for a year?
We were there for 10 months. So we were in Spain for 3 months, and then we traveled Northern Africa.
Oh, wow.
Then we went to Asia, and then we came back, and we were in Europe for a while. Tons of countries and cities, and it was like, wake up, get on a train, go to the next one, and just keep moving, keep up with the adventure, learn as much as we could and really be immersed in the culture. I think it was really important while I was traveling to hit the tourist attractions, but also go where locals went. I think that was something that was really important for me. And that was part of the original plan. That did stick, but didn't stay abroad quite as long as originally planned, but that's okay. Plans change. So
sure. So then I can only imagine, after all of that fun, all that excitement, you were dying to come back to Northeast Ohio.
I was
the Mecca and the metropolis of Cleveland, Akron area.
Yeah. I mean, I was definitely excited to see my family. I think that was good, because there's no FaceTime. I think we were doing Skype, and it was like very glitchy. And then, when we were in Asia, it was a total time difference. I mean, it was almost impossible to talk to people. But yeah. But yes, I think I had already had the plan to move to LA. So I remember calling my parents from Asia, and it was like I said, the time difference was awful. And I think they were like just going to bed or something. It was very late. And I was like, hey guys, so the thing is, I'm going to come back to Cleveland for a little bit, and then I'm moving out to LA, and I'm going to pursue acting and film and TV. And my parents were like, that's wonderful. And we're going to sleep. And I was like, thanks.
Yes. Extremely supportive parents. We're so glad to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think. And then when I started telling people, there were still people who were like, okay, some people were like, we get it. You're just going to do what you're on your own program. Nobody really knows what you're doing, and you're going to do your own thing. So, and there were still, I think, people who were like, what? We thought this was it. Like, that was the last adventure, and now you're home. And I was like, not yet.
So what? Like, I think there's any amount of like fear, right? Like telling people you have had this idea, you've had this plan, like you knew where you wanted to go, but then it's like you start telling people that that's what's next, and that makes it real. And so I guess, why acting, and like, why did you feel compelled after advertising and then blogging that like acting was the next step?
So that's a little tricky because it was kind of the through line, I guess. So I've been in theater since I was 8. I think the summer before I was 9, I had my first lead in a play. And then I started acting professionally in Cleveland at 14. So I had been in theater for a really long time. And my parents were like, well, in college, you must get a business degree. And I was like, okay, I will do that. And I think I chose advertising because you move project to project, just like you do in theater. You move, show to show. And I think that's what connected me there. But I was always doing theater over the summers and kind of in the background of everything else. And I took a break initially when I was started working, and I got back into a little. And then when I moved, I took a break. And LA was always something that I had wanted to do. My ex-boyfriend, the one who had traveled me, he's actually from LA. And so he knew the city really well. And so it was kind of a no-brainer. But LA was always a thought. I think every holiday I would ask my parents for an agent. Like when I was really little, I'd be like, I want an agent for the holiday.
I want an American Girl doll.
I was like, I don't want any toys. I just want an agent. And my parents were like, you're not going to become a child star. And I was like, well, not without an agent.
Yeah. Hello.
She's smart. She knew what she wanted.
So when you went to LA, did you get an agent?
I did. Yeah. I had an agent for a bit. I also had some help from friends who worked on awesome TV shows. And I got to meet some really great people that I'm still in touch with. And yeah, I mean, LA was amazing. And I really enjoyed my time there, and I don't think I'm done with LA, but I had to be done for a little bit.
Ooh. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I was very excited to come visit you when you were in Los Angeles too. I was like, yes. And every time I'd see you on a show and like as an extra or in the background, I was like, my friend's on the show. I was so excited. I was so happy for you. And I'm like, I remember the day you got your SAG card, I think. Message. I was like, this is so great.
I feel like Tiffany loves a reason to go to LA.
I do. I love finding a reason to go to Los Angeles.
She loves a reason to go to Los Angeles.
Rachel was a perfect reason for that.
I know. I was so glad you came out and visited. I think, I mean, LA is so much fun. It's an amazing time, and it's one of my favorite cities. And
I mean, I would just like to pause for a second and say, like, I feel like you haven't wasted very many F's in your life. Like, I feel like you just kind of knew what you wanted to do and you just did it. And I'm really impressed.
That's right.
Like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving
on. Okay. So in LA, you were there, and outside of, getting some auditions and things like that, what else were you doing?
In terms of writing or all the other stuff?
Well, writing. Yeah, I was gonna say let's get into the writing. Yeah,
catering. I don't know. Bartending. All the things you do in LA, all the things you do in between. So LA, as much as I love it, I love the industry. I love being on set. There's really no place I'm happier than in a theater or being on set, apart from my family, of course. Being on set is like the most incredible experience. I mean, seeing everything come together and watching, every single piece of it, the writers who are there making changes on the fly, the producers who come down and everyone freaks out. That decoration, the wardrobe people and hair people are literally the best people you'll ever meet. They know everything. And I loved it. But in LA, the truth is, as a woman, you do age out for a little while. And so when you are not super young, but you're not old enough to be a young mom or an older mom, it's, there's a spot in the middle as a woman. And so, and that's, there's an exception, of course, for people who had already been well established. And that was not me at the time. And so I started writing. And, I think watching, like being on set, seeing a film script, watching how it was adapted on the set, how people worked through it, how actors prepared, the lighting. I mean, every single piece of it came together, and I thought, I really want to write a film script. I have this vested interest in how the lighting works or how you can film an insert to a scene that really makes the scene powerful and just all the elements that come together. And so I started writing film scripts actually while I was out there. And I think there's one episode of a webisodes. God, I'm gonna say the wrong. I'm gonna say
that's what it was called.
Webisodes.
Webisode.
Yeah, in the early age of the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we shot the pilot of that, and then it wasn't too long after that I came back, but I think that that'll be adapted into something else at some point. But I started writing more seriously, I think, when I was out in LA. And it's like between being on set, you have to have something that you want to do, and you have to have something, or you can do all the other things as well. But I really had an interest in writing.
That's awesome. And like I said, I got some exposure to your writing through your first travel blog, but then when you started sharing some other stuff with me, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl knows what she's doing.
Thanks. Sometimes.
Okay, so you got really into writing, and now you've written 4 different books, 2 fiction and 2 nonfiction. Yeah. So how different are those experiences?
Sure. So, I mean, the Nomad Diaries, which is the blog that became a book, I think that was just kind of the natural progression for that. And then I wrote a collection of short stories called Two People Are Coming Out of a Building, and every story begins with that line. And those felt like an exploration into small scenes. And I think that I had written that before I started writing stage scripts. And I think that felt like it felt like theater, like we're having this one scene and here's how it progresses, just in this moment in time. And so that kind of got me moving towards stage plays a little bit more than I had been in LA. I wrote a novel that I just wanted to try. I'd never done it. And so I was like, I'm going to try this. It was very difficult, I have to say. That was probably the most difficult thing I've ever written. I think novels are just so much different than stage. There's so much you have to put in, and so much detail. If I'm writing a stage play, I'm like, oh, the set, that's the tech director. Oh, the lights, that's the lighting designer. But a novel, everything has to be there. And then the last book I wrote, I actually waited to publish it because I wasn't sure, but it's called Pants Off, Dance Off, A Gentleman's Guide. And it's a dating guide for men. And it's basically, here are all my horrible dating stories. My husband is not in there. I just want to note that. He wants
good.
Probably.
And it's a good book.
Yeah.
I have to read them.
Terrible dating stories. Although I do still see a couple of the people who are in there. They don't know they're in there, but I do. So. Yeah, you probably know 1 or 2. So, yeah. But the books are so much fun to write. There's probably another one somewhere out there on the horizon. But yeah, stage plays, that's really where I am right now. And it's the similarity is in constructing the characters. I think that's always where I start from, and what I really love to do. And, stage plays, it's a little different, but it's that's the focus right now, for sure.
Are you able to talk about anything that you're working on currently? Can you share?
I can. So I just had a play that was a semifinalist for Ojai Playwrights Conference and B Street Theater. And that's a comedy. So I usually write dramedies. I usually write a drama that has interspliced pieces of comedy in it, but this is a full comedy. It's an absurdist play, which I really don't usually write. But it's pretty extreme. I'd say there are a lot of F's in it, the ones that you guys don't focus on, a lot of the swearing.
I mean, we're
keeping it clean.
Because, on Spotify, it says explicit, and it's like, no, we're not.
We're not.
Not on the Spotify. I feel like that's gotta, is that stressful for you when you're writing a comedy and, you're experiencing it live, and, is there ever this fear of, are they gonna laugh?
Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Every time I just was in Milwaukee for a short comedy that I wrote that they performed up there. And you just, as a writer, you're just holding your breath. You're just holding your breath and waiting for that first laugh. And if the audience can agree on that first laugh, you're like, exhale. They're going to laugh throughout. You just have to get that first laugh. So yeah, I think I'm always holding my breath waiting for it. Sure.
So what you kind of said you liked the character development, but like what else drew you more towards the playwriting than other forms of storytelling?
I think just because my background is as an actor and that's where I feel comfortable. I think the way I like to tell stories is best done through theater. I think I like that feeling of being live and in front of someone. I mean, I love screenplays as well, but there's something about theater that it's so visceral. You're right there with the person. And you're either connecting or you're not. And I think finding those audience members who you would never even, you may never meet these people, but your words can connect with them and they can say, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one. And I think that's something that I've always experienced in my life. When I see a great theater piece, it's just, there's nothing like that magic of theater. And I think with straight plays or musicals, straight plays are what we call non-musicals, there's just that moment in a great piece of theater where you're like, wow, that's me, or I know that moment from my own life.
You write so well about like the human experience. And that was the one thing I was thinking about is when you were saying how you're afraid that people won't laugh. I think you're so in tune with like what is going to evoke certain feelings from people. And I don't know if that's just a talent that you've always had or if it's come from all of the experiences or maybe a little bit of both. But yeah, I can't wait for people to either see some of what you've put on or read some of what you wrote, because we will let you give a little shout out so that people can follow you later too.
Yeah, and we'll link link in bio.
Great.
So as we kind of like wrap this up, like I said, I feel like you haven't really wasted too many F's in your life. Like if there's something you wanted to do, you've kind of just gone for it and done it. But maybe end on a little bit of rapid fire questions. So Tiff, I don't know if you want to like take turns asking these.
Yes. I would love it.
Okay. So what is your favorite book recommendation? And you can be self-serving and say your own. Totally.
Oh, I didn't know I could say that. I mean, I wouldn't, but someone else can say it. Someone else who does one of your podcasts can say, no, anything by Tana French, anything by her.
Okay.
Morning writer or night writer? What do you prefer?
Morning.
Me too. Silence or music?
Silence.
Home
when you're I have a follow-up. Like sure. When you're working or like all the time?
Just when I'm working, but usually because I'm like saying all the character lines out loud. So I'm like, oh, how does this sound? How does that sound?
Okay.
So it's sort of silent.
Good call.
Good to know. Yeah.
Home or coffee shop?
That was tricky. Coffee shop.
Coffee shop.
Really? One word to describe your writing style.
Authentic.
Okay, last one. If your life were a book title, what would it be?
Ooh, that's tough. I'm not finished yet. The Rachel Zake story.
Ooh, I love that.
I do like that. So I guess that kind of is a good segue to like our closing thought. What would you tell the younger version of yourself? Or if like young Rachel was sitting next to you or it was at like a coworker at your first advertising job, what would you say to her?
I would say you're just getting started. It's going to get a lot crazier, a lot better, and a lot stronger. Just wait for it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being on. I'm so excited to read all your books now.
Oh, thank you. This is so fun. Yeah, this has been really great. I've had such a good time talking to you guys. This is really fun.
Good.
Awesome. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. And we'll let
Yes.
everybody know. Well, I was going to say, do you want to say where we could find you on socials?
Sure. Yeah. My website, rachelzake.wordpress.com, Rachel Zake Playwright on Facebook, and at Rach Writer on Instagram.
Perfect. And we'll put it in the
Sounds
bio,
good.
like we said.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel.
Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So what did you think about meeting Rachel for the first time?
I mean, I thought Rachel was awesome. I said it multiple times. I wish I could be more like a Rachel. And if I felt like I needed to do something, to like go out and do it. She didn't wait. She didn't over engineer. She just decided this is what I want to do and I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, she did not have a lot of fear. I mean, I remember her going through this process too. It's like she didn't listen to the outsiders like me who were like, why are you doing this? This sounds crazy. I hope everything's going to be okay. You know, she was just like, this is what I'm doing. And, you know, she mentioned her parents were very supportive and, oh, thank goodness, because she has a lot of great experiences to now share with the world. And it comes out in her, like I said, it comes out in her writing and the plays that I've seen.
Yeah.
So.
And as a mom, like I'm not her mom, but I'm someone's mom. I'm like, how did you afford to live? Like, what did you do for work? How did, like, you know, I have all these questions now, like as a 40-year-old, like, but also as a 25-year-old, I would not have, like, I still wouldn't have been able to do that, you know? So I have so much admiration for her for just really like taking that experience and then continuing to do the things one after another that she wanted to do. Like
multiple leaps of faith for sure.
And just like flipping that script over and over and over again. Like,
It's not one.
No.
Multiple times.
And it was also in a time where you couldn't like go online and know everything to know before leaving.
Oh yeah. No, like the pre-planning tools that we have now and everything. Yeah, she didn't have any of that. And honestly, like reading some of the things that she experienced on her travels, and like she said, it was in the Nomad Diaries that she turned in the blog that she turned into a book. If you would read those things, like you were saying, even as a mom, but it's like for all the things that she experienced, those are the things that I would be thinking of, like, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? It's like she came out of all of it, and yes, she experienced all those things, but like, oh my gosh, it's those kind of things that you think like that's what would hold you back, and if anything, that's probably more of like what propelled her forward and gave her that additional resilience and ability to go try something else new. You know?
Yeah. So, you know, we'll link all of Rachel's books and her socials and all the ways that you can follow and learn more about her if you're interested. And we're just so thankful to continue to have people who are willing to join our leap of faith, right? Our podcast, the little podcast that could over here, No F's Wasted.
Our little flip of the script that we're doing here.
I know. You know, my husband called before we started. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, hello, Tiffany and I are recording, remember? So it's just this like new phase of our life that we're in. But before we sign off from this episode, we wanted to talk about, you know, what F's are we not caring about or not wasting this week? And for me, I don't have time to waste any because it's school's ending, sports are starting, it's dance recital time. I mean, there's literally something or three somethings happening every single day and evening. So there's just no time to care about the things that aren't important.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, I know you and I are going to try to squeeze in another session because this has been fun. And this is so important to our I guess, you know, new direction that we're taking. And it's become a new avenue of our friendship, and I really enjoy it. So not wasting any F's there.
Yes, same. So thanks for listening and tuning into another episode of No F's Wasted, and we'll catch you next time.
Sounds good. Peace
All right.
out.
Bye.